Chapter 1556, Fang Yuan's Death? Chapter 1556, Fang Yuan's Death? Translator, Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios Boom. Thunder rumbled as a 10-foot thick bolt of blue lightning fell down from the sky and cleaved at Fang Yuan's back like an axe. Fang Yuan was transformed into an ancient sword dragon and had reverse flow protection seal. When this lightning struck him, an unstoppable force rushed in, knocking him down from the sky. The lightning was reflected back at Thunder Ghost true monarch Jinglan. But Jinglan just sneered as the whirlpool in her pupils spiraled and actually absorbed the reflected lightning. Fang Yuan almost crashed into the ground, but he raised his head with all his might and swung his dragon body. After narrowly brushing past a tall mountain, he soared into the sky again. Little earthworm, Jinglan sneered, pouncing towards Fang Yuan once again. She was extremely fast. Fang Yuan's ancient sword dragon transformation, even with sword escape immortal goo, could not match her speed. Fang Yuan's speed was actually already extremely fast. It was at the peak level among rank 7 goo immortals. Only Huifeng Z and a few other rank 7s could contest Fang Yuan in this aspect. Jinglan, however, was a genuine rank 8 goo immortal who was highly proficient in movement. Her speed was at the peak of rank 8 goo immortals. Compared to her, Fang Yuan, who had peak rank 7 speed, was simply too slow. Try this move. Jinglan easily flew to Fang Yuan's back and aimed her palm at Fang Yuan's dragon head, a pale mysterious light shooting out of her palm. The power of this mysterious light simply could not compare to the earlier lightning axe, but when it struck reverse flow protection seal, it immediately incited a huge change. Water splashed out of reverse flow protection seal. Reverse flow protection seal's thickness was reducing at a visible rate. Fang Yuan's expression changed intensely. He shook his tail, rapidly, fleeing with all his strength. Jinglan laughed loudly while thinking, "This Junior Z Wei is amazing." In just a short while, she has already deduced a rank 7 immortal killer move that is specially used to break this Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal. It is a pity that this move can only be used once in a while. There is a time restriction, otherwise I would have already decapitated this little demon. Just as she was thinking this, Jinglan's expression suddenly changed. Far away in the horizon, an enormous wall, seemingly supporting the sky, was gradually being revealed. This enormous wall was actually a regional wall. The 5 regions were all covered with layers of membrane that formed each region's heaven and earth, while also separating each other. These were the regional walls. The regional wall before Jinglan was purple-black. It was misty and chaotic, and gave rise to a feeling of oppression. Southern borders miasma regional wall. So this little demon wanted to escape into the regional wall. Jinglan immediately realized that it was extremely difficult for goo immortals to cross regional walls. Often, the higher their cultivation, the higher the difficulty in crossing the regional wall. After entering a regional wall, goo immortals would not only be met with rejection force, they would also face backlash when using any method that it was already not easy for rank 6 goo immortals to cross a regional wall. It was highly dangerous for rank 7. And for rank 8, the difficulty was extremely great. There were basically no rank 8 goo immortals who would ask for trouble by walking into a regional wall. They were more willing to take a detour by going through Black Heaven or White Heaven. This little demon is only rank 7. He will have the territorial advantage in the regional wall. I can't let it happen. At this thought, Jinglan's brows stood up. Her eyes shone with sharp light as she flew in front of Fang Yuan and blocked him. Fang Yuan fell into a bitter battle. He had been fleeing all along before to get close to the regional wall. He had a huge advantage in the regional wall. The sovereign immortal body could freely move about in the regional wall. That meant he would be safe if he entered the regional wall. But Jinglan simply did not give him this opportunity. Her attacks were like waves making Fang Yuan constantly change directions. However, Jinglan's speed completely outstripped his and would always obstruct him from ahead. Right now, Fang Yuan was not far from the regional wall, but because of Jinglan, it felt like the regional wall was far away in the horizon. Immortal killer move. Myriad dragon. Immortal killer move. Familiar face. With no choice, Fang Yuan could only use these 2 moves together. He disguised his identity, lunging forward amidst the scattered dragons. This. Jinglan's eyes opened wide in anger. She had no good way to deal with this. She had already tried before. Her investigative killer move simply could not detect Fang Yuan's disguise. But she had a huge arsenal of moves, and soon slaughtered all the myriad dragons, forcing Fang Yuan's true body out. However, Fang Yuan's true body had already taken the chance to move ahead by several li, and was much more closer to the regional wall. Jinglan turned into lightning and flashed by, appearing before Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan gave a bitter sigh, once again activating the two killer moves. Myriad Dragon might be powerful, but in front of Jinglan, it was reduced to a veil to disguise his body. Against the power of the domineering lightning, it looked increasingly fragile. Like this, Fang Yuan continued to lunge forward, while Jinglan continued to obstruct him. There was not much distance from the regional wall, but both sides were constantly engaged in fierce battle. Fang Yuan had to use a lot of effort to move forward each time. Found you. Jinglan smiled malevolently as she destroyed all the dragons once again, exposing Fang Yuan's true body. She pushed forward her palm from which shot out a pale, mysterious light. The mysterious light immediately cut off a large portion of reverse flow protection seal. There was only a thin layer of reverse flow protection seal left. Good. There is much more improvement this time. Jinglan laughed, transmitting her voice of admiration to Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei smiled. We have already been probing reverse flow protection seal long ago. The previous results along with the information from Senior's fight have already become a key to qualitative change. This kind of deduction is always difficult at first, but easy later on. Now I will deduce a rank 8 killer move, making use of Senior's immortal goo to restrain reverse flow protection seal. Good, I am waiting. Jinglan responded to Fairy Ziwei while looking at Fang Yuan entering the regional wall. There was nothing that could be done about it. Jinglan could not detect Fang Yuan's true body. His two killer moves were also greatly effective. Although she obstructed him many times, she could only let him enter the regional wall in the end. But, you think you are safe in the regional wall? A mere regional wall. How could it block me, Thunder Ghost True Monarch? Black chi gushed out of Jinglan's nose. The black chi rapidly expanded and spread throughout her whole body, covering her in a thick black cloud ball. Countless ghosts of the dead roared inside the black cloud and fought each other. Every time they fought, they would produce firm blue lightning. Jinglan controlled the black cloud ball and entered straight into the regional wall, still chasing after Fang Yuan. She actually entered here. Fang Yuan got a huge shock. Kid, your trick might have been effective against others, but against me, you are simply playing tricks in front of an expert. Back then, I used regional walls to fight Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Other rank 8s don't have methods to enter deep into regional walls, but I have. It is your bad luck to have run into me. Jinglan shouted nonstop while the black cloud ball let out countless lightning bolts that landed on Fang Yuan's ancient sword dragon transformation. Fang Yuan cried out in pain. Reverse flow protection seal was already broken pretty badly and could no longer reflect all the damage. But Jinglan was also not any better off. Blood flooded out from the corners of her lips as she felt bouts of dizziness. Using killer moves in regional wall would result in backlash. Fortunately, she had a phantom aperture which only had immortal goo and immortal essence. Unlike normal immortal apertures containing large amount of resources. If there were other resources, they would have definitely suffered greatly at this moment. Boom, boom, boom. Lightning bolts smashed at Fang Yuan's body. Mixed in among them was pale mysterious light that constantly broke down reverse flow protection seal. Even in the regional wall, Fang Yuan was unable to escape from Jinglan and was being chased closely. Fang Yuan's injuries became increasingly severe. His sparkling silver scales had already lost their luster by now. Blood stained half of his body. His horn was broken, and his dragon claws were fractured at many areas. The black cloud ball around Jinglan had also mostly dissipated, exposing her armor. Her face was pale, but her spirits were lively as she fixed her gaze on Fang Yuan, vowing to kill this demon. Okay, the rank 8 killer move to break reverse flow protection seal has finally been deduced. At this moment, Fairy Ziwei's voice came. Jinglan was joyous. Fairy Ziwei reminded her. This move is very powerful. I have to ask Senior to use it cautiously. The backlash won't be small if the activation fails. Don't worry. Jing Lan was doing multiple things at once, immediately beginning to attempt activating this killer move. She activated it 3 times, but every time resulted in a failure. Fortunately, she had plenty of experience, timely stopping whenever she felt something wrong. The backlash was indeed powerful. Her armor was mostly destroyed, revealing her body inside. The 4th attempt. She finally succeeded. Fang Yuan, go and die. Jing Lan flew above Fang Yuan's head. A vast beam of light shot down towards Fang Yuan's head. Fang Yuan simply did not have time to dodge it. He could only watch as this pillar descended. Chapter 1557, Counterattack. Translator, Atlas Studios Editor, Atlas Studios, Die. Jing Lan gave a loud shout, her eyes shining with joy as she watched the beam of light bombard Fang Yuan. She was a rank 8 Gu immortal with extremely high battle strength, but she had to live under Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's shadow her whole life. She had woken up because of Dang Hun Mountain self-detonation, and when she saw Spectral Soul captured and resisting futilely, the feelings which she had hidden in the depths of her heart surged out. Shock, anger, pity, joy, and also fear. Spectral Soul, you were once so tough, but now you have become a prisoner. I am going to kill your inheritor now. I awakened at a really good time. By killing your inheritor, I shall eliminate the fear towards you that is rooted in the depths of my heart. Then, I will bring Fang Yuan's head before you, and you will also be killed by me. Ha ha ha, there will be a day when you will die by my hands. This is unbelievable. It is like a dream, ha ha. Thunder Ghost True Monarch Jing Lan was laughing madly inside her mind. Something is wrong. Quickly stop now. Right at this time, Jing Lan suddenly heard a voice. It is too late. Jing Lan's eyes were filled with bloodthirst and killing intent, but soon she was slightly stunned. This voice is somewhat familiar, right? It is that Junior Z way. So it was not Fang Yuan's backup. Wait a moment. What did she mean? This thought crossed Jing Lan's mind. The bloodthirsty intent in Jing Lan's eyes immediately dissipated by a large degree, revealing clarity. She quickly retreated. Too late. Fang Yuan's expression suddenly changed. His previously panicking and fearful look instantly disappeared, replaced by certainty of success and fighting spirit that soared to the skies. He shook his dragon body. Instead of dodging, he moved towards the sky, directly crashing towards Jing Lan's fatal killer move. The beam violently struck Fang Yuan's body, but Fang Yuan's dragon body was covered in a layer of reverse flow protection seal, which had a completely different appearance at this moment. It had not only recovered its original state, it was also flowing with traces of mysterious light. Reverse flow protection seal had a completely new transformation at this crucial moment. Variation move. The beam of light could not break this reverse flow protection seal and was reflected back smoothly. What? Jing Lan's pupils shrunk. Even though she had a lot of battle experience, her expression revealed a frightened look at this moment. Earlier in the battle, she had fought Fang Yuan while holding back. Even if the abilities bounced back, she could absorb them or endure the damage. But this attack was completely different. She had used this move with all her strength, and this move by itself was a rank 8 immortal killer move. If she had succeeded in this move, it was certain to not only break reverse flow protection seal, but also kill Fang Yuan. But now, her full-strength killer move was actually completely reflected. Jing Lan wanted to give Fang Yuan no time to dodge, so the distance between the two were extremely close. Right now, Jing Lan wanted to dodge, but did not have enough time. Her mood was also intensely fluctuating because of the shadow of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable rooted deep in her heart. And there was also another important reason. Her state was far from perfect. She had rank 8 cultivation. Although she had the ability to enter deep into the regional wall, her body was not the sovereign immortal body after all. She would suffer damage from the backlash. While chasing Fang Yuan and gaining the upper hand, she was filled with satisfaction and hatred, so she did not sense it. But now that she was trying to dodge, she shockingly discovered her state was poor. With all these reasons piled up, Jing Lan had no time to dodge and could only face the beam of light head-on. Boom! The light bombarded Jing Lan's body, erupting with glaring radiance like the sun had descended on the battlefield. Even Fang Yuan, who had transformed into an ancient sword dragon, had to firmly close his eyes. But at the next moment, the radiance dimmed a little. Fang Yuan endured the pain to forcibly open his eyes. Kill. He barely managed to distinguish Jing Lan's extremely tiny and fragile body within the endless white radiance. Her ferocious and thick whole-body armor had completely disintegrated, revealing her physical immortal body. Being hit by her own full-strength attack, Jing Lan's eyes rolled back into her head as she fell unconscious, blood flowing out from all the pores in her body. Fang Yuan opened his mouth, revealing sharp fangs, as he moved his dragon body and charged at Jing Lan. With his limbs expanding to an exaggerated degree, Fang Yuan slashed down with his claws. Damn it! Damn it! I actually fell for his scheme. In Heavenly Court, Fairy Ziwei's eyes were wide open in anger and self-blame. He had actually modified Reverse Flow Protection Seal to this degree, creating a new variation move. The previous Reverse Flow Protection Seal was a trap to deal with me. Once I deduced it, he would use the variation move to form a completely different Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Fang Yuan, inconceivable. How could his wisdom path attainment be so deep? Fairy Ziwei had all along thought of Fang Yuan highly, but this fact in front of her was a huge slap to her face. She had thought she held the upper hand. Since the Battle of Reverse Flow River, she had begun gathering information and put great efforts in deducing Reverse Flow Protection Seal. In the later event, when Feng Jiuge chased after and fought Fang Yuan, she had been deducing with all her strength from behind the scenes, until Thunder Ghost True Monarch set off this time. She felt she had accumulated enough, and it was finally time to reap the gains, but she had never expected it all to be Fang Yuan's trap and scheme. The wisdom path attainment Fang Yuan showed far surpassed Fairy Ziwei's expectations. But how is this possible? Wait, did he borrow the power of Wisdom Goo? But Wisdom Goo is clearly wild. Only rank 9 venerables can refine this goo and use it. Fang Yuan is only rank 7, and there is also no one with such capability in the whole of Langya's sect. Even if they had rank 9 immortal essence, it would require a venerable's will to battle Wisdom Goo's will. In the records in Heavenly Court, after Star Constellation Immortal Venerable became rank 9, she had spent close to 100 years to subdue and refine rank 9 Wisdom Goo. Fairy Ziwei was baffled. Thin beads of sweat covered her forehead, and in just a few moments, she was actually perspiring. Senior Jinglan definitely suffered severe damage from this attack. She must hold on. Fairy Ziwei had deduced this rank 8 killer move and was of course aware of its power. The investigative killer move she had put on Jinglan was also destroyed by this attack. Fairy Ziwei had already lost her surveillance of the battle situation. She immediately sent Chun-Yi and others to the regional wall battlefield to reinforce Thunder Ghost True Monarch. She herself, however, stayed in Heavenly Court. Duke Long was completely focused on nurturing Feng Jin Huang. He was not here. Spectral Soul was putting up stiff resistance and needed to be monitored at all times. Heavenly Court also needed Fairy Ziwei to oversee the whole situation. Crack crack. A series of crisp sounds resounded from Jinglan's body. Fang Yuan's sharp dragon claws fiercely stabbed Jinglan's chest. But at the crucial moment, armor interwoven with dense amounts of lightning appeared in front of Jinglan's chest. When the dragon claws landed on this armor, it was like striking the hardest steel. This was a rank 8 passive defensive killer move. Even if the Gu Immortal was unconscious, it could activate by itself if there was an attack. If it were before, Fang Yuan would be like a rat fighting a bull. But now, this lightning armor already looked badly damaged from one attack. It was not in its complete form. Thus, Fang Yuan used all his strength and tore down at it. The dragon claws steadily slashed down, cutting down Jinglan's flesh from her left shoulder to the right side of her waist. Wherever the claws passed by, lightning flashed as the lightning armor was torn apart. 3 of Jinglan's hard rib bones were also severed by Fang Yuan's claws. The dragon claws were completely intact. Immortal essence was rapidly expended to maintain the reverse flow protection seal that steadfastly protected Fang Yuan. Without this layer of protection, the dragon claws might have fractured into countless pieces just from cutting down half the way. The intense pain woke up Jinglan. She was indeed a highly experienced fighter, a rank 8 great expert who had resisted Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. In that instant, she realized her situation and let out a shrill scream. This scream was not a random scream, but an immortal killer move. Fang Yuan only frowned. He was completely safe. On the contrary, this attack was completely reflected back to Jing Lan by reverse flow protection seal. Jing Lan's eardrums immediately burst. Her mind fell into chaos as a huge amount of blood surged internally in her head. Blood surged out of even her eyeballs, dyeing her vision red. Jing Lan had extraordinary battle accomplishments, but maybe because she had immediately set off to fight Fang Yuan after waking up from her hibernation without loosening up and retraining her skills. Or maybe because she was startled awake from the pain, and after seeing her severe injuries, she subconsciously reacted to protect herself too quickly, forgetting Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal had already underwent a complete change, which led to her making this mistake and inflicting severe damage on herself, taking advantage of her situation to kill her. Fang Yuan's dragon eyes shone with a cruel and sinister light. He swung his tail, ruthlessly knocking down Jing Lan from the air. Boom. The ground shook. Jing Lan was smashed to the ground like a flesh ball, creating a 10 feet wide deep crater. Damn it. Jing Lan gritted her teeth, struggling to get up. Her injuries were extremely severe. Her armor was gone and 3 of her rib bones were split. Her beating heart and the constantly expanding and shrinking lungs could be seen from outside. Roar. At the next moment, Fang Yuan opened his mouth as wide as possible and let out his dragon breath. Sword-light dragon breath. Dragon breath with unparalleled sharpness gushed out. The silver-white dragon breath fell down heavily upon Jing Lan's body like a waterfall. Jing Lan had just stood up, and the thoughts in her mind had mostly settled when the dragon breath bombarded her. With a plop, she was forced to kneel down on one knee. I was actually forced to kneel down by a rank 7 Gu immortal? A strong sensation of humiliation filled Jing Lan's heart, anger and hatred surging within her mind. Ah! Jing Lan roared towards the sky, and along with her furious roar, blue lightning erupted out of her countless pores. Lightning interwove together before fiercely expanding. Rumble. Endless lightning formed into a hemispherical light barrier that repelled everything in the surroundings. Within its area, be it Fang Yuan's dragon breath or the surrounding miasma, they were all burnt to a crisp by the lightning. Rank 8 might is indeed not ordinary. But this attack should be your last burst of strength, right? You are already a spent force. Myriad Dragon. Fang Yuan roared. Chapter 1558, Retreat. Translator, Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Fang Yuan activated his strongest offensive method. Dragons roared and countless silver scales filled the sky. Myriad dragons flew and besieged Jing Lan, who was at the center of the deep crater. Damn it. Jing Lan clenched her teeth, fury burning in her eyes. After the attack just now, her aura fell to the bottom. Myriad dragons pounced at her, but she easily killed them. These little worms can't do anything. Fang Yuan, you coward, come, let's have a real fight. Jing Lan roared. Fang Yuan sneered, his true body deeply concealed in a corner. Myriad dragon, myriad dragon, myriad dragon, myriad dragon. Disregarding the expenditure of immortal essence, Fang Yuan activated myriad dragon killer move in a frenzy. Jing Lan's aura weakened rapidly. She kept on roaring and provoking Fang Yuan, but he did not move his true body. Myriad dragon was a peak rank 7 killer move, but it was indeed not much for Jing Lan, because Jing Lan still had abundant immortal essence, and her immortal goo were also intact. But every time Jing Lan used a killer move, she would suffer backlash from the regional wall. She had methods to weaken this backlash, but with her current severe injuries, any backlash could be fatal. And also, she still had to use her healing methods. But how could her injuries be so easy to heal? A Gu immortal's injuries were difficult to treat. Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal body was the only exception in the world. After failing to lure out Fang Yuan's true body, Jing Lan could only choose to break through. Myriad dragons could not stop her even when she was heavily injured. This was the Thunder Ghost true monarch who had such astonishing battle strength that she had once stood up to spectral soul demon venerable. Fang Yuan sighed, knowing that he was stronger in defense. Although his battle strength had barely reached into rank 8 level, it was not enough to take the life of an expert like Jing Lan. Gu immortals of this level could not die so easily. unless they were ambushed and trapped in a mortal battlefield killer move. Moreover, they had to be killed before the battlefield killer move was broken. Naturally, from another angle, Fang Yuan was unable to kill Jing Lan, but Jing Lan was also unable to kill Fang Yuan. Even if she was faster, she could not stop Fang Yuan from entering the regional wall. But even so, Fang Yuan was clearly aware that even if he could not kill Jing Lan, he still had to hunt her down. I must weaken this person's battle strength as much as possible so that I can gain as much time as possible later. At this thought, Fang Yuan pointed his finger. Immortal killer move, directional confusion fog. Originally, the fog was purple and was not big, although it could confuse even rank 8 Gu immortals. After Fang Yuan modified it, this move had no effect on rank 8 Gu immortals, but it had an amplified effect on rank 7 and below Gu immortals. Not only did the color change, the range was greatly expanded, but the duration shortened drastically. After the battle in Green Ghost Desert, Fang Yuan had once again modified this move with his high theft path attainment level, adding in mini theft path mortal Gu, and even adding great thief immortal Gu as its core to steal the enemy's perception ability. Thus, its might had soared and could affect rank 8 Gu immortals once again. In an instant, large amounts of fog spread around Jing Lan, messing up her sense of direction. Fang Yuan took this chance to send out the myriad dragons once again to surround and attack her. Oh no, I lack many of my immortal Gu. I cannot even break a killer move of this level now. Jing Lan tried many methods, but shockingly found she could not deal with this killer move properly. What's going on? Fang Yuan was observing the whole situation and was surprised when he saw Jing Lan unable to break through. After this killer move was modified by Fang Yuan, its activation was slightly more convenient, but it was still only a rank 7 move. Fang Yuan did not even have the thought of obstructing Jing Lan with this move. His real thought had been to delay Jing Lan for some time. But he was surprised to see that Jing Lan actually could not break out of the fog. From outside the fog, Fang Yuan could clearly sense waves of immortal Gu aura. This was Jing Lan constantly trying various methods to break the fog. Her moves were not completely ineffective, but they had little effect, only thinning the directional confusion fog by a small degree. Sharp light erupted in Fang Yuan's eyes as he immediately continued to activate directional confusion fog. The fog continued to pile up layer upon layers, firmly trapping Jing Lan inside. She really can't break out. Fang Yuan gave a bitter smile. If he had known this before, he would have already used this move and did not need to flee so miserably. However, any killer move's effect would decrease if they were used multiple times. Not only would it make others be on guard, it would also reveal traces that could be deduced and deciphered. Fang Yuan leaving this killer move until now was a wise choice. It was just that he had not expected it to actually be able to trap Jing Lan. This was a pleasant surprise. This is problematic. Jing Lan also realized this as she truly started to feel the aura of death approaching. Kill. Countless sword dragons pierced into directional confusion fog and attacked Jing Lan from all directions. Jing Lan could not break out the fog, instantly falling in a bitter fight. The regional wall was still rejecting her. Every time she used a killer move, she would suffer a backlash. Am I, Jing Lan, the Grand Thunder Ghost True Monarch, going to die here? As time passed, Jing Lan's heart started to sink as the situation turned increasingly unfavorable for her. No, I need to hold on. I can still fight. Even if I die, I will bring down Fang Yuan with me. Jing Lan looked at her chest. Her chest wounds were the largest and exposed her heart. Her heart was extremely unusual. Every time it beat, it let out threads of purple lightning. This was her final trump card. Such valiant battle strength. Even after being so heavily injured, she can still persevere, and it even looks like she has enough strength left. Moreover, her will is unbreakable, even though I secretly used so many wisdom path methods. After attacking for a good while, Fang Yuan heaved a sigh and gave up. Time was extremely important now. Fang Yuan needed to deduce and modify Ghost Official Garment as soon as possible. Although the situation was completely advantageous to Fang Yuan, Heavenly Court would not just watch by. Once their reinforcements arrived, it would be Fang Yuan's calamity then. There was even the possibility that Thunder Ghost True Monarch came with other Gu immortals, but that her speed was too fast and left her companions far behind. Immediately making the decision, Fang Yuan left, but he did not forget to add in many uses of myriad dragon and directional confusion fog before leaving. Retreat. Fang Yuan immediately moved deeper into the regional wall. The 5 regions' regional walls were rather safe areas for Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan moved while deducing the modifications of Ghost Official Garment, but soon, he found that no matter how he modified Ghost Official Garment, its limit was still rank 7. Instead, it was better to deepen the connection between it and Ghostly Concealment. Ghostly Concealment is a rank 9 killer move. Although it belongs to Theft Path, it has Ghost in its name and is closely related to Soul Path as well since it blocks the perception of souls. Yama is the correct way to go. I can raise Ghost Official Garment to a much higher level by borrowing the strength from Ghostly Concealment. After finding the correct direction, Fang Yuan immediately began to deduce. He had plenty of wisdom path methods, and his attainment level was also high enough, and his theft path attainment level was the one which gave him the most crucial support. Like this, after several days and several nights, Fang Yuan finally finished his deductions, activating Yama once again. This completely new Yama killer move made the connection between Ghostly Concealment and Ghost Official Garment much more close. Previously, these 2 killer moves rejected each other, but now, they were beginning to merge together, and the rejection between them was completely gone. Success. Fang Yuan carefully felt the effects and clenched his fists in joy that he was once again shielded from Heavenly Court's deductions, making his situation turn from dangerous to safe. But if he cancelled Yama, he would once again be exposed to Heavenly Court's deductions. Fang Yuan quickly moved towards northern plains. Maintaining the new Yama took a lot of immortal essence, and he had already spent an enormous amount of immortal essence in the fight with Thunder Ghost True Monarch. His immortal essence reserves were almost empty now that I end this battle. Fang Yuan had activated Myriad Dragon multiple times, and also used Directional Confusion Fog an unprecedentedly high amount of times. These immortal killer moves expended immortal essence. Furthermore, he had also spent a lot of immortal essence to deduce the new Yama. Altogether, Fang Yuan had suffered huge losses in this battle, but it was not that he had no gains. Preserving his life was the greatest gain. Besides this, there was the new Yama and 3 rib bones of Thunder Ghost True Monarch. These 3 rib bones were cut off by my dragon claws. Every one of them is a rare immortal material, but they originate from Thunder Ghost True Monarch. I don't dare to use them. It is better to put them in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Chapter 1559. Number 1 Rank 7 Expert. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios Heavenly Court. In a vast hall. Fairy Z-Wei slowly opened her eyes, stopping her deductions as she heaved a sigh. Fang Yuan's wisdom path attainment is remarkable. He is protected from my methods once again. Rank 8 Gu Immortal Chun Yi was standing to the side, maintaining the killer move Karma Divine Tree to help Fairy Z-Wei in her deductions. This time, he had a complex expression as he said, "Lady Z-Wei, there is something I need to report to you." "What is it?" Chun Yi was only helping from the side, while Fairy Z-Wei was fully focused in deducing Fang Yuan. So Chun Yi was the first to discover Fang Yuan's action that he immediately reported. 3 rib bones of Thunder Ghost True Monarch are being put for sale in Treasure Yellow Heaven. What? Fairy Z-Wei's expression immediately changed. She immediately connected to Treasure Yellow Heaven and sure enough, saw the 3 rib bones being put for sale. It had already gathered the attention of many Gu immortal wills. Unimaginable. This demon Fang Yuan already has such battle strength. Sigh. His growth is too fast. He is already a demonic path overlord of this generation. Fang Yuan is an otherworldly demon and has used Spring-Autumn Cicada to rebirth. He naturally has an enormous advantage in cultivation. I recognize her. This is Heavenly Court's Gu Immortal Thunder Ghost True Monarch. Who could have thought she would actually be suppressed by Fang Yuan? Thunder Ghost True Monarch Jinglan. This is an old senior. She is still alive? So much for Central Continent's Heavenly Court being regarded as the number 1 human force. They have all along been trying to capture Fang Yuan, and even sent a rank 8 Gu Immortal. But look at this. Fang Yuan actually beat her so miserably. Gu Immortal wills were endlessly conversing with each other. Fairy Ziwei's body began to tremble from anger. Fang Yuan had not only put the rib bones for sale, he had also used some methods to continuously display his battle with Jing Lan on loop. Naturally, he only chose to play the part where he had successfully counterattacked and pummeled Jing Lan. Do we report this to Thunder Ghost True Monarch? Shun Yi inquired. Jing Lan had beaten back the myriad dragons and got rid of the directional confusion fog with much difficulty. But when she came out, Fang Yuan had already long since left without even leaving behind a trace. Although Fairy Ziwei could still deduce Fang Yuan's location at that time, Jing Lan's battle strength had weakened extremely. Her state was not optimal, and she needed to recuperate urgently. When the reinforcements arrived later and joined with her, she once again began to chase after Fang Yuan. Unfortunately, the distance between her and Fang Yuan was already greatly enlarged. Fang Yuan was deep within the depths of the regional wall. Jing Lan continued to give chase, but her reinforcements did not have methods to enter deep into the regional wall and could only stay at the boundary. Jing Lan was not resigned to this defeat. Filled with anger and humiliation, she continued to chase without rest. But right at that time, Fairy Ziwei was unable to deduce Fang Yuan anymore. Jing Lan also thus lost her target. Ziwei, where the hell is that demon Fang Yuan? Jing Lan transmitted her voice. She was burning with rage, so her tone was very blunt. What should have been easy prey actually caused her to land in such an extremely miserable situation with serious injuries. How could the proud Jing Lan accept this fact? She gritted her teeth, desperately wanting to kill Fang Yuan and erase her shame. Fairy Ziwei was silent for a moment before slowly informing Jing Lan. What? Even you lost him? Jing Lan was furious and discontented. Fang Yuan's wisdom path attainment is already no longer the same as before. But he will go to Langya blessed land no matter what. We have already made some arrangements there. Although we failed to capture this scoundrel, we have also made huge gains. Not only did we waste a large amount of his immortal essence, we also forced him to reveal many trump cards. How could a Gu immortal like him be dealt with in one battle? Fairy Ziwei gently persuaded Jing Lan. Jing Lan was silent, standing on the spot. After a while, she heaved a long sigh, her anger already gone. I underestimated him. This person is astonishingly talented. He is indeed worthy of being the person chosen by Heaven's will and Shadow Sect. Next time we fight, I won't make the same mistake. Jing Lan was not a reckless person. After being reminded by Fairy Ziwei, she immediately regained her calm and the demeanor of a heavenly court expert, frankly admitting her mistake. Compared to Fang Yuan, there is an even more troublesome matter. Fairy Ziwei tactfully informed Jing Lan of the matter in Treasure Yellow Heaven. The calm mind that Jing Lan just regained immediately surged with waves of anger. What? This guy actually dared to sell my rib bones? Outrageous, simply outrageous. Jing Lan immediately connected to Treasure Yellow Heaven, and sure enough, saw her own rib bones being put for sale. Anger surged to her head, and her eyes turned bloodshot. Soon after, when Jing Lan saw the projection of the scenes where Fang Yuan pummeled her, she almost crushed her teeth. Damn that guy. When he ends up in my hands later, I will tear off his skin, pull out his tendons, and grind his bones till they turn to dust. But this kid Fang Yuan actually put them for sale. He is indeed very cautious. Also displaying only that small portion of the battle. This guy has no shame. Jing Lan breathed roughly, and with some effort, calmed down and began to think. He definitely expended a lot of resources in this battle. Did his foundation get damaged, so he is selling these 3 bones to replenish it? Then let me fulfill your wish and buy them. On one hand, Jing Lan wanted to buy the rib bones to connect them back. They would have an extremely remarkable effect on the healing. On the other hand, letting this scene and the rib bones stay in Treasure Yellow Heaven for even a day would have a deep impact on Heavenly Court. Since ancient times, Heavenly Court had all along been publicly acknowledged as the #1 force. Now, Fang Yuan selling Jing Lan's 3 rib bones was like a huge slap to Heavenly Court's face. It was not good for Fairy Ziwei to make a move since Jing Lan was the one involved. Jing Lan also realized Fairy Ziwei's intent. She swallowed this humiliation as she activated a will and concealed her identity before inquiring Fang Yuan's will. What are you selling these rib bones for? Who might you be? I am from Eastern Sea. Jing Lan clenched her teeth. never having thought the Grand Thunder Ghost True Monarch would have to be secretive like this. I am very interested in these 3 rib bones. Fang Yuan's will laughed. There are many interested parties. Jing Lan's will clenched her teeth. But there are few who will be bidding a high price like me. Fang Yuan's will did not act according to her expectations and inquire about the bid, instead shaking his head. No matter how high a price you bid, I am not selling. Not selling? If you are not selling, what are you putting these here for? Jing Lan immediately had a bad feeling. Fang Yuan's will sneered. For fun? You have a problem. Guh. Jing Lan could not endure it, immediately spitting out blood. Fang Yuan. I, Jing Lan, will do whatever it takes to kill you. More than 10 days later, Langya blessed land's immortal formation shone with radiance that soared to the skies. The radiance gradually dissipated. Fang Yuan leisurely walked out of the immortal formation. After defeating Jing Lan, Fang Yuan had maintained the immortal killer move Yama throughout the way, moving without resting towards Langya blessed land. Because Fang Yuan still did not know Langya blessed land's true location, he had to rely on the immortal formation to directly teleport inside. Finally, I don't need to maintain Yama. Fang Yuan let out a sigh of relief as he canceled the killer move Yama. Elder Fang Yuan, you have finally returned. Langya Land Spirit was already standing outside of the immortal formation. As Fang Yuan canceled Yama and showed his true appearance, Langya Land Spirit immediately came to welcome him with a smile. Langya Land Spirit was invaded, and Fang Yuan had not contributed anything. Why was Langya Land Spirit's attitude so cordial then? Fang Yuan was clear of it. It was completely because he had put the 3 rib bones of Thunder Ghost True Monarch on display in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Fang Yuan did not sell them. On one hand, it was to strike Heavenly Court's prestige. On the other hand, it was for Langya Blessed Land. Langya Blessed Land was invaded by Feng Jiuji's group and was beaten miserably, as well as provoking Heavenly Court. Over these last days, the higher-ups of the Northern Plains Variant Human Alliance higher-ups were in a constant state of anxiety and pressure. After all, these variant humans had once dominated the world and suppressed humans. It was Heavenly Court who led the human race to defeat these variant human races, creating the current human dominance. These 4 variant human races were afraid of the human race. They survived by hiding in some corners of the world. Now that they had provoked Heavenly Court, it could be imagined how much pressure they were facing. In such a situation, Fang Yuan had pummeled Thunder Ghost True Monarch mercilessly and put the battle scene on display in Treasure Yellow Heaven for everyone to see. Jing Lan was a famous rank 8 expert in the history. Such a person was also beaten back by Fang Yuan. To variant human Gu immortals, this was tremendously good news. As the news spread, it was like sunlight shone on them, removing the gloominess in their hearts. Elder Fang Yuan, you did a good job this time. Previously, I had been trying to borrow the immemorial rock dragon from the Rockman race, but they had been acting ambiguous. But when the news of your battle spread, their attitude clearly changed. Langya Land Spirit gave an eye signal to Fang Yuan, transmitting his voice. Now that you are back, we can intimidate the Rockman race to lend their immemorial rock dragon. At that time, we will have 3 great rank 8 battle strengths, and moving Langya Blessed Land would not be an issue. Langya Land Spirit was in high spirits. Fang Yuan glanced at Land Spirit. He was not as optimistic as the latter. Heavenly Court definitely had made a lot of arrangements. It wouldn't be an easy matter to relocate Langya Blessed Land. However, it was not urgent right now to explain this to Langya Land Spirit. Fang Yuan then looked at a group of variant humans behind Langya Land Spirit. These people were Gu immortals of the 4 races. To promote Langya Blessed Land, Fang Yuan returned grandly. They came to welcome him. They all had smiles on their faces at this moment. Snowman Gu immortal being Yuan praised. Elder Fang Yuan is indeed a heavenly genius. Even that Grand Thunder Ghost True Monarch is not your match. This battle has already set your throne as the number 1 rank 7. Bing Yuan was all smiles. Fang Yuan was engaged to a woman of the snowman race. He was considered half a snowman. She was the one who had initiated this. The stronger Fang Yuan was, the more happy she would be. Previously, Fang Yuan and Feng Jiuge held this throne collectively. After all, both had rank 7 cultivation, but were able to fight rank 8s. But now, After Fang Yuan displayed the battle scene where he beat Thunder Ghost True Monarch so miserably, the whole world was shocked and in a clamor. Feng Jiuge had invaded Langya Blessed Land, but he naturally could not publicize it. As such, Fang Yuan's reputation suppressed Feng Jiuge, officially recognized as currently the #1 rank 7 expert in the world. Chapter 1560, Refinement Path Quasi-Supreme. The fight depended on who the opponent was. If Fang Yuan had won against rank 6 or rank 7 Gu Immortals, no one would be so surprised. But when the opponent was the famous rank 8 expert Thunder Ghost True Monarch, it became a completely different thing. Truthfully, Fang Yuan did not have an easy time in this battle, but it was sufficient to establish his reputation as the #1 rank 7 in the world, bringing down Feng Jiuge. After this battle, Fang Yuan's name became truly renowned in the world. After this battle, even those rank 8 Gu Immortals would start paying heavy attention to this rank 7 monster, Fang Yuan. Naturally, this was all Fang Yuan's scheme. Although it was Fang Yuan's defeat, as he took the initiative to retreat, he was not without any gains. Victory and loss in a battle was not too important. Only the losses and benefits derived from the battle mattered. Although Fang Yuan was defeated in this battle, he had made a lot of gains. The 3 rib bones' value did not lie in themselves, but in their significance. Fang Yuan used this battle spoil to the limit, shaking the entire Gu Immortal world. This included Chu Du's complicated feelings, Wu Yang's displeased expression, and Lu Weiyin's sigh. And when Fang Yuan returned to Langya Blessed Land, he immediately felt a huge difference. These variant human Gu Immortals, including Langya Land Spirit, had a completely different attitude towards him. They held him in genuine awe, especially in this situation when Heavenly Court was waiting to attack them. Fang Yuan had become their pillar of support. After all, the immemorial rock dragon was only an immemorial desolate beast. Even though ancient battle formation Heavenly Giant Solar had rank 8 battle strength, it still could not compare to a genuine rank 8 Gu Immortal. And now, Fang Yuan had pummeled a rank 8 Gu Immortal, and this rank 8 Gu Immortal was Thunder Ghost True Monarch, who was an expert even among rank 8s. Right now, who would even care about Fang Yuan's rank 7 cultivation? His battle accomplishment was displayed right in front of everyone. Because of this, when Fang Yuan returned to Langya Blessed Land, these people eagerly came to welcome him. Fang Yuan's attitude, however, was slightly cold. He only talked a little with Langya Land Spirit, Bing Yuan and others, while nodding toward Shui'er. Shui'er immediately lowered her head bashfully. The other snowman Gu Immortals beamed with pleasure at this. The variant human Gu Immortals proposed holding a feast to welcome Fang Yuan, but Fang Yuan declined without hesitation. The current situation is quite dangerous. The important thing right now is to make the best use of time to get through this danger. Fang Yuan said this indifferently, but the variant human Gu Immortals nodded and exclaimed in agreement. Fang Yuan's status had truly changed. These variant human Gu Immortals truly treated him as a rank 8 Gu Immortal. Compared to their similar status with Fang Yuan before, they were now slightly lowering their heads and had a humble attitude that on one hand, it was because of Fang Yuan's powerful battle strength that could pummel Thunder Ghost True Monarch. On the other hand, a great enemy was in front of them. They needed Fang Yuan's help. Everyone can leave now. I need to talk with First Supreme Elder in private. Fang Yuan waved the immortals to leave without any politeness. Fang Yuan then transmitted his voice to Langya Land Spirit. I am first a Supreme Elder of Langya Sect. Only after that am I a member of the Alliance. These words were spoken with sincerity, which immediately made Langya Land Spirit feel good, thinking Fang Yuan had not forgotten his origin and was still their member. The gloominess he felt from Fang Yuan persuading him to hand over Refinement Path True Meaning had also decreased by a lot. The group of immortals was tactful, taking their leave. Langya Land Spirit grabbed Fang Yuan's arm, vanishing from the spot and appearing in the first Cloud City. With your perceivable Tao Immortal Gu, we found that they had really made some arrangements in the Blessed Land. We need to get rid of these harmful Tao marks first if we want to move Langya Blessed Land. Langya Land Spirit was worried. Fang Yuan felt slightly strange. First Supreme Elder, with your refinement path attainment, isn't refining these Tao marks your specialty? Lang Yalan's spirit said in a distressed tone. Heavenly Court is indeed Heavenly Court. Their methods are extremely unusual. I have used almost all methods, but am unable to do anything to these down marks. A sharp light flashed across Fang Yuan's eyes. Heavenly Court had indeed made ample preparations with their extremely profound foundation. Since they made arrangements, they were not worried of it being discovered, and even more unafraid of it being broken. Perhaps Fairy Ziwei had already taken Lang Yalan's spirit skills into her consideration. I wonder if my self-cleansing killer move will have any effect. Fang Yuan was rather confident in this method. After all, he had gotten rid of inextinguishable star target by using this move. But at this moment, Fang Yuan did not want to immediately make an attempt. He said to Lang Yalan's spirit, "Since that is the case, then let me be direct. First Supreme Elder, please take out the refinement path true meaning. After I become a refinement path quasi-supreme grandmaster, I will surely be able to resolve this problem." Lang Yalan's spirit's expression immediately changed. This refinement path true meaning was his ultimate treasure. He was going to take it out now and give to Fang Yuan, a human goo immortal. He naturally did not feel well and was reluctant to part with it. However, since he had already agreed to Fang Yuan before, and with the grave situation in front of them, even if he was reluctant, he could only nod at this moment. After a while, Fang Yuan finally saw the refinement path true meaning of long-hair ancestor. True meaning was an extremely special form of will. This was the first time Fang Yuan was personally seeing a lump of true meaning. This true meaning had the appearance of long-hair ancestor sitting cross-legged. Its whole body was shining and crystal clear. It did not have a physical body and looked like it was purely made from diamonds. The absolute majority of wills could move about themselves, continuously expending themselves to think and move. But the true meaning was completely still, like a statue. However, it was because of this characteristic that this true meaning could exist for so long. If it was able to move around and think, it would have already been expended completely. You take it. Lang Yalan's spirit had an extremely complicated expression as he looked at the long-hair true meaning for a good while before sighing and saying to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan nodded and stepped forward. His eyes widened as an attractive force appeared that absorbed this long-hair true meaning into his mind. Long-hair true meaning entered Fang Yuan's mind, immediately letting out brilliant radiance. The diamond-like radiance shone upon Fang Yuan's mind, forming an area of imposing light. Fang Yuan immediately sat cross-legged and closed his eyes. His expression firm that he began to use many wisdom path methods. Immediately, shocking waves rose in his mind as countless thoughts and all kinds of wills charged at the long-hair true meaning, constantly colliding, constantly absorbing, learning, and comprehending. Everything progressed smoothly. Fang Yuan completely absorbed this long-hair true meaning in several hours, turning it into his own foundation. This was the complete understanding of long-hair ancestor towards refinement path. Now it completely turned into Fang Yuan's cultivation resource. Fang Yuan's refinement path attainment level, which had been relatively unspectacular the entire time, now soared to quasi-supreme grandmaster in one step. This is truly ascending to heaven in one step. Even if it were the time of 5 regions chaotic war where dream realms manifested, I would not have such an accomplishment from exploring dream realms. Even Fang Yuan felt extremely moved. His gain was truly enormous. Although he had completely absorbed the refinement path true meaning, Fang Yuan still remained seated without budging, wholeheartedly savoring his advancement. Refinement path. This was a very special path. Gu immortals who cultivated this path were most proficient in refining goo. The way of goo cultivation had 3 elements: nurture, use, and refinement. Now, in terms of refining goo, Fang Yuan had become extraordinarily skilled. Among all the goo immortals in the entire 5 regions, there was almost no one who could match the current Fang Yuan in his understanding towards refinement path. But just attainment level is still not enough. What I currently lack are experiences of refining goo, refinement path immortal goo, and refinement path killer moves. Fang Yuan had a clear understanding of himself. But as long as I practice these things, my progress will be extremely rapid, to the point of simply skyrocketing. After all, I am now a quasi-supreme grandmaster. Who could have thought that after raising my theft path attainment level to Great Grandmaster, my refinement path would become quasi-supreme Grandmaster in just a short time? Fang Yuan pondered with closed eyes, carefully comprehending the changes brought by refinement path attainment level. He casually flipped through a goo recipe. With just one glance, the mortal goo recipe completely revealed its profundities to Fang Yuan, and with another thought, Fang Yuan could raise this goo recipe to its most optimal level. He looked at an immortal goo recipe. It naturally had much more contents than the mortal goo recipe, and its difficulty also rose sharply. But this did not beat Fang Yuan. He discovered he only needed to concentrate on the contents, and some problems would immediately become clear with just some thinking. For some more complex rank 8 immortal goo recipes, Fang Yuan needed to use wisdom path methods to constantly ponder. But because of quasi-supreme refinement path attainment, his thoughts would not have errors. Sometimes, he did not even need to deduce. He could just refine an immortal goo based on intuition or determine if an immortal goo recipe was usable. Looking at an immortal goo recipe which he understood completely before, he was now able to instantly think of a large number of improvements. The more he thought, the more modification plans he discovered, and regarding incomplete recipes, unlike before when he had to deduce with the help of the light of wisdom, the difficulty had decreased by countless times now. Naturally, he was not all-knowing, and would still need the respective path's attainment level to deduce many incomplete recipes. In the history of refinement path, there were only 3 supreme grandmasters. I now have quasi-supreme grandmaster attainment level, not just in the current era, even throughout history. Based on refinement path attainment level, I should be in the top 10. Fang Yuan's battle strength might not have changed, but his view was no longer the same. It had almost been elevated to the highest point of goo cultivation. Standing at this height, Fang Yuan could simply look down upon the entire goo cultivation process. Countless insights emerged in his mind. The way of goo contains nurturing, using, and refinement. They are actually one to begin with. The nurturing of goo worms has the element of refinement. The element of refinement contains the element of use, and the element of use also contains both nurturing and refinement. The current Fang Yuan could look at a complete goo recipe and tell how this goo worm should be nurtured and what its effects were. With his comprehension, he could also reverse deduce how the goo worm should be refined from the way it was nurtured and used. Wait a moment, I understand now. Actually, any killer move, be it mortal or immortal killer move, can be considered as an incomplete goo recipe. Fang Yuan's body suddenly shook as he comprehended this maxim of refinement path.